You wake up at 2:17 in the morning. You don't know why, but something inside you already knew. The other side of the bed is cold. Not empty, cold. Like it's been that way for hours. You check your phone. No messages. No calls. Silence. You tell yourself it's nothing. That you're overthinking. That exhaustion is messing with your head. But that night, something broke. And it wasn't the marriage. It was you. I never thought I'd be telling this story. I never thought I would be that woman. The one who finds out her husband married someone else. Not just cheated. Not just had an affair. No. My husband. My life partner. The man I promised to grow old with. He married another woman. While he was still living with me. If you're listening to this and you feel that knot in your stomach. I know. I felt it too. That hollow feeling with no name. That mix of anger, humiliation, and a sadness that feels physical. Let me tell you how it started. Because these things never begin with an explosion. They begin with small details. At first, it was little things. He changed his password. Started taking his phone to the bathroom. He smiled at his screen, but never shared why. I asked questions. He said I was being paranoid. That it was stress. That I needed to trust him. And I trusted him. Because when you love someone, you want to believe. You want to protect the beautiful version of your story. One night, he said he had to travel for work. 3 days. Nothing unusual. He traveled sometimes. I packed his suitcase. Ironed the blue shirt he likes. Slipped a note inside, like I always did. I love you. Come back soon. God. I was so naive. I found out by accident. I wasn't looking for proof. I wasn't snooping. A message came through while he was showering after that trip. The screen lit up. Thank you for making me your wife, red heart. Those words went straight through me. It wasn't, I miss you. It wasn't, I love you. It was worse. It was official. I felt the ground disappear. The air turned heavy. I just stared at the screen like my brain refused to process it. When he came out of the bathroom, I was still holding his phone. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just asked, "Who did you marry?" His face. I'll never forget it. It wasn't surprise. It was fear. Real fear. And in that moment, I understood something. It wasn't a one-night mistake. It was a double life. He married her in another city. With paperwork. With a ring. With photos. While I was home believing I had a faithful husband. Do you know what hurts the most? It's not just the physical betrayal. It's the invisible humiliation. Imagining another woman wearing a dress like mine. Hearing the same promises. Believing the same lies. You start asking yourself, since when? Before our anniversary? Before he held me while I cried when my father died? You replay memories. Every smile becomes suspicious. Every trip, every meeting, every silence. You become a detective in your own past. And that is exhausting. That night we didn't argue like in the movies. No plates thrown. Something worse. Indifference. He sat down, looked at the floor, and said, "I didn't want you to find out like this." As if the problem was the way I found out. Not what he did. He said things got complicated. That he didn't feel heard with me anymore. That she understood him. That with her, it was easier. Easier. What a cowardly word. Easier than facing problems. Easier than being honest. Easier than telling the truth. While I was doing everything to keep our marriage alive, he was looking for comfort somewhere else. And still, part of me wanted him to say it was a joke. A mistake. A nightmare. But it wasn't. It was real. The next days were a blur. I barely slept. Barely ate. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. I kept asking what she had that I didn't. Was she younger? More fun? Thinner? Comparisons that slowly destroy you. And if you're going through this, hear me. It wasn't because you weren't enough. It was because he wasn't capable of being loyal. Infidelity is not a response to boredom. It's a decision. A series of decisions. I confronted him again. I asked if he loved her. He stayed silent. And that silence was the clearest answer I could have received. Yes, he loved her. Or at least thought he did. And I was still there, his legal wife. The one who signed first. The one who was there when he had nothing. Suddenly I felt replaceable. Like our story had only been a draft. The most humiliating part came later. She didn't know I existed. Yes, he told her he was divorced. Promised her a clean future. When she found out the truth, because yes, I contacted her, her world shattered too. We were two women deceived by the same man. And for a moment, in the middle of that chaos, I hated her less and saw him with brutal clarity. He wasn't a man in love. He was a selfish man. People ask me why I didn't leave immediately. The answer isn't simple. Because love doesn't disappear in a second. Because years matter. Because memories cling. Because breaking a life hurts. But staying hurt more. One afternoon I looked at him and understood something deep. I didn't trust him anymore. And without trust, love turns into fear. Fear he'll lie again. Fear of checking his phone. Fear of not being enough. I didn't want to live like that. I packed his things. Not with hate. With sadness. Every folded shirt was a memory. Every object a scene from our life. When I closed that suitcase, I felt like I was closing a version of myself. I asked him to leave. And he left. No grand speeches. No real fight for us. That was an answer too. The weeks after were the darkest. There are days you want to call him. Nights you miss even his flaws. Pain is contradictory. It makes you long for the person who broke you. But slowly, you start breathing differently. You remember who you were before you became the woman begging for explanations. I went out with friends again. I laughed without. I slept without checking someone else's phone. And one day, without noticing, I stopped asking what she had. I started asking what I deserve. If you're living something like this, listen carefully. Someone betraying you does not mean you failed. Infidelity speaks about the character of the one who cheats, not the value of the one who is betrayed. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it humiliates. Yes, it changes you. But it also wakes you up. It forces you to see yourself without illusions. To decide whether you want to stay in a story where you are an option, or write one where you are a priority. And him? He stayed with her for a while. Later I heard it didn't work out. Because when you build something on lies, you live on sand. I didn't feel joy when I found out. I felt relief. It wasn't that I wasn't enough. He simply didn't know how to be faithful. Today, when I look back, I don't feel rage. I feel clarity. I learned that love isn't standing in front of people making promises. It's respect when no one is watching. I learned that staying out of fear is betraying yourself. I learned that sometimes the greatest act of self-love is walking away. And if you're listening because you suspect something, because you found a message, because your intuition won't let you sleep, don't ignore that voice. Don't minimize yourself. Don't stay silent. Ask. Confront. And if the truth hurts, at least it will be real. Because living in a lie is a slow death. And to you, who might be thinking about being unfaithful, stop. Don't destroy someone who trusts you. A moment of excitement is not worth years of guilt. Not worth the broken look in someone's eyes who believed you. Not worth becoming the reason someone can't sleep at night. If you don't love anymore, speak. If you're confused, be honest. But don't promise loyalty while searching for a replacement. Because the damage you cause doesn't disappear. It stays. In invisible scars. In new insecurities. In people who will be afraid to love again. I survived. Not because I was strong. But because I understood I deserved something clean. Something real. And so do you. You are not someone's second choice. You are not a backup plan. You are not a for now. You are enough. And even if today it feels like your chest can't hold the pain, I promise you something. One day you will wake up. And the other side of the bed won't be cold. It will be empty because you decided no one will ever occupy it again without deserving you. And that decision will be the beginning of your peace.